What is up, Gato Squad? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Elias, and if you are new here and like car content, consider subscribing by hitting that button below. So today we're going to be talking about the car news. So we had a bunch of things happen lately. The Tokyo Auto Salon, first of all. We're going to talk about that and the Type R. And then we're also going to be talking about a few things that happened at the Detroit Auto Show and a few other shows, a few unveilings that happened recently in the car world. So let's go ahead and get started. And at the end, of course, there will be a Frosty beverage review. So if you like that, go ahead and wait till the end.
So let's talk about the car news. I want to start by talking about the Type R at the Tokyo Auto Salon. I'm not sure if you guys saw that or not, but let's discuss it anyway. Now, the first thing that comes to mind, the Type R at the Tokyo Auto Salon, is that Mugen one. If you guys see that, I mean, let me know what you think in the comments. Take a look at the exhaust, take a look at the front, take a look at the wheels, the side, all the added bits to it. Now, I'm one of the guys that says the Type R is styled, you know, very boldly. It's, you know, it's got a lot of design features to it, and I actually like the way it looks. I enjoy looking at it, especially in person. Everyone seems to enjoy it in person, but let's admit it, it's a bit busy to begin with. You know, Honda did a great job of being bold and designing the Type R. Well, Mugen turned it up another notch and created this thing, and it looks awful. I don't know about you guys, but that thing looks awful. It's got the terrible exhaust. It's got the wheels which are already too large from the factory, in my opinion. 20 inches are too large. They look even larger from the Mugen. I don't know what the specs are, but needless to say, the whole car just looks terrible. I don't know what Mugen was thinking, taking that out. Maybe in Japan that kind of stuff works, but here I could never even think about seeing a Type R look like that. I wouldn't like it. Let's just leave it at that. The rest of the Tokyo Auto Salon has some interesting things on it. The best part was this hood that I found. I believe Barris made this hood. It looks really awesome. I love the way that the hood looks, and it's very functional. It's got the heat extractors at the top of the hood. So, you know, I may or may, if I do keep the Type R, I may or may not be putting that hood on the car just for heat management for track days. I'll probably switch them back and forth. I'll put that hood for track days. I'll put back the aluminum one, the factory one, for non-track days. And yeah, it's probably what I do. I love the way it looks. Maybe I'll just keep it on, who knows. But yeah, that pretty much covers the Tokyo Auto Salon. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the Type S. Now, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but Type S has been missing from the Acura brand for a very long time. We haven't had a Type S for quite a long time. Well, Acura said they are bringing it back, and that's a huge deal, because I remember one of the best Type S's was the RSX Type S. Shades Wade, shout out to you. He has an RSX Type S he's building currently. So the Type S does have a good meaning. You know, it's basically the sporty / luxury side of Acura, and it means that they're going to come out with performance models of their vehicles. Now, they do have something called A-Spec right now, but a lot of the A-Spec products that I've seen are more body kits and, you know, appearance packages. There might be a few brake upgrades and things like that of the A-Spec stuff, but no real performance gain out of them. Type S used to mean you get a hotter engine, better transmission, better brakes, better wheels, and that's a big deal. So, you know, I look forward to seeing what Type S models they're going to bring out. And hey, maybe they're going to bring out a Type S Civic or Type S ILX that's just a Civic Type R in Acura form. That would be amazing. I don't know about you guys, but I would be very interested to see that. Maybe it'll come out with a 10-speed automatic. Maybe that's what they were talking about when they said there's going to be different Type R variants. They're going to bring over an Acura Type R, and it'll have a 10-speed automatic without the gear grinds, of course. It'll have leather seats and, you know, all this other cool stuff that people want in their Type R and can't get. You know, and it'll probably be around $45,000–$50,000 for a Acura Type R or Acura Type S type of Civic. I'd be very interested to see that. They also mentioned that they're going to be turbocharging the V6 engine and putting them in a lot of different cars in the Acura lineup. Now, this turbocharged V6 engine is going to be apparently unique to the Acura brand, which is something they really need. Right now, Honda is beating Acura at their own game, so that's something to keep an eye out. Hopefully, more news comes very soon, and I'll be sharing with you guys very shortly. Now, the next bit of news is, of course, the Hyundai Veloster. It has been redesigned, and the biggest news, and I think a lot of people are missing the point, the biggest news to come out of that is that it's coming out with a fully independent rear suspension. That's something that was sorely lacking in the previous generation of the Hyundai Veloster, and that's actually why I never considered it as a proper sports car. Now, yeah, you know, the current Veloster has 200 horsepower. You can get it with the automatic, you can get it with the stick shift. And, you know, on paper it sounds okay, but when you go drive the Veloster, you know that the performance is lacking, especially when it comes to handling. And a hot hatch is all about the handling. And without that independent rear suspension, it just wasn't going to go anywhere. Well, that's changed. The new Veloster has independent rear suspension. It looks really good. It's a little bit bigger than last model, and I think that's a good thing. I needed to grow a little bit, which is, you know, it's understandable. And the biggest news is that the Hyundai Veloster is coming with the N form. So in case you guys don't know, Hyundai's N division is like Honda's Type R division. It's basically their performance variant of whatever car they're talking about. So the Hyundai Veloster N is going to be coming out very soon. Now, what's very interesting about this Veloster N is that it's going to be coming out with 275 horsepower and around 265 foot-pounds of torque. So it's getting pretty up there. It's getting pretty close to the Type R. Of course, it's not going to be quite as fast, obviously, but it will be competing probably with the WRX especially, because the WRX has about the same amount of horsepower. And you know, if you're looking for a hot hatch, the WRX cannot be bought as a hatch, so you'd have to look elsewhere, and the Veloster might be stealing sales from the WRX. We shall see. Now, the Model N, as I'm calling it now, because I'm not really used to saying Veloster N or Type N, or I don't know what they're going to call it. But the Veloster N has a lot of styling features that are also really awesome. You know, they're nice and bold. I know a lot of people are not going to like it, because a lot of people that don't like the Type R probably won't like the Veloster N. It's very edgy and very, you know, it has a lot of lines, and it has a lot of design features and, you know, cool spoilers and things like that. I actually do like the way it looks a lot. I'm really excited to see what Hyundai has in store for it. There's more details coming, and of course I'll be covering it very soon. Now, the 2019 Mustang Bullitt. Now, that's been a topic of conversation for a lot of people for a while now, and you know, a lot of people love that movie that Steve McQueen's in, Bullitt. He drives that green Mustang and chases that other guy in a black Mustang. Really awesome car scene chase. If you guys never seen it, go ahead and check it out. The whole movie as a whole, it's a little bit slow, but once you get to that car scene, everything makes sense. The movie is worth to see, just for the car chase itself. Well, Ford's coming out with a Bullitt edition of the Mustang for the 50th anniversary of that movie. Yeah, the movie's 50 years old, believe it or not. So it's going to be green. I believe it can be had in black as well, but the prototype that was out in the car show this week, or last week, was green. So, you know, you got all the green different features. You got the Bullitt side markers. You got special interior features and things like that. The biggest question is, what kind of performance upgrades is it going to get? Well, to be honest with you, it didn't seem like it was that much of a performance-oriented model. It was more of a kind of an appearance model than anything else. It's based off of the Ford GT with the performance pack, which is by itself an incredible car. So it's not going to be a terrible car to drive. It'll probably be an amazing car to drive. It just has those special features. So if I were to go for a Mustang GT, if I would ever want to buy a Mustang GT, I would probably get the Mustang GT with the performance pack and not with the Bullitt pack. But it's really cool nonetheless. Keeping with the Ford theme, Ford came out with another performance variant. Now, this is something that this is kind of funny to me, because, you know, wait till you hear what it is. It's the Ford Edge ST. So basically, they took a crossover SUV, which are not my cup of tea to begin with, and they put a 2.7 liter EcoBoost engine, which is pretty powerful. You know, give it bigger brakes and give it an appearance package, you know, a more aggressive front grille, aggressive side bolstering, things like that, and made the Ford Edge ST. What do I think of that? Well, you know, it's cool that they're doing crossovers, performance variants, but if you're gonna get a performance car, get a performance vehicle, something that you can take to possibly a track or an autocross, or at least drive on the back roads for fun. This crossover, yeah, it'll probably be okay on a straight line, and you'll get really good performance on the highway, etc., etc. But if I were to get an SUV, I would want the most fuel efficient SUV. I'm not buying an SUV. Well, I wouldn't buy a crossover SUV anyway. I would buy a pickup truck or something like that. But if I were to go and buy a crossover SUV, I would probably get the most fuel efficient, most capable, the most full of luxuries that I can get for the least amount of money. That's something that I would get. Ford Edge ST to me doesn't make that much sense. What do you guys think about that? Does that make sense to you? You know, to put a performance variant of a crossover SUV? I don't know. I'm not big on that. And then the last bit of news from Honda is the 2019 Honda Insight. Now, if you look at it, it looks like it's based off of the Accord because of the styling features, but it's actually based off of the Civic, which by itself, being based off of Civic is probably going to be an incredible car. The Civic is an incredibly made car. You know what my feelings are on the 10th generation Civic from Honda. I think Honda did a really good job at designing the 10th generation Civic. That chassis is incredibly good. Well, the thing about that is that the Insight's going to be basically competing with all these other plug-in electric vehicles. I saw some spy shots of the interior and things like that, and I think they've done a really good job of it. I hope that in the future it sells really well. I know Insight has never really sold really well, and it's actually one of the first, if not the first, hybrid car to come out in America back in 1998, 1999. It was a really cool looking little Insight. I actually like the way it looks a lot. I hope that this Insight sells really well and that it goes well going forward. Alright, that's it for the news segment for the cars. Let's go ahead and enjoy a Frosty beverage.
Alright guys, so for today's Frosty beverage review, here we go. We have a Yuengling traditional lager. Now in case you guys don't know, Yuengling is actually made here in Pennsylvania in a town called Pottsville. I believe it's America's oldest brewery. At least they claim it to be so. And I actually haven't had a Yuengling in a very long time, but it is my first real craft beer that I used to drink. I don't think people consider this craft beer anymore, but I consider it kind of a step above kind of Bud Light. So this beer has 4.4% alcohol by volume, so it's not much at all, but because of that, it's very easy to drink, and you can probably drink 3 or 4 of these and not really notice you're drinking that much beer. It's very tasty. Like I said, it has like an amber. It is an amber beer, so it has a very malty flavor to it. Let me get another sip going. It's perfectly carbonated. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's just perfect. I like the fact that it comes from Pennsylvania. I don't know if you guys know, but I moved to Pennsylvania about a year ago now, and love everything about the state, and including the beer. So Pennsylvania has a really, I don't know if you guys know, but it has a really awesome brewery called Trogs Brewing Company. My favorite beer is made there. Let me know in the comments if you know what that is. You guys should know what that is. But this one right here is actually really good. Let me show you the label here. Yuengling Lager. Very good. My recommendation when to drink this, basically if you had a long day, if it's cold out, warm out, doesn't matter. You need something to kind of just sit back, enjoy. You don't have to think about it. A lot of these porters and things like that, a little bit harder to drink. And you do have to kind of enjoy them. It's like a whiskey kind of thing. A lot of these high-end porters, talk about porter beers. And with this thing, it's just you'll pop it open, you just drink it. Very enjoyable, almost like drinking a fermented juice. That's pretty much what I would call it. So that pretty much wraps it up, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.